Hello everyone and welcome to the full review of the XOLO Q1000 Opus. It features the new Broadcom quad-core chipset, that's BCM23550, with the Video Core 4 graphics engine. If you look at the device, on the left you have the volume rocker and the metallic looking trim that runs through the entire device. The buttons are quite sturdy, they don't make any clicking sounds as well. If you move to the top, you have the 3.5mm audio port, and that's just about it. On the right of the device, you have the power lock and unlock button, which is again quite sturdy. At the bottom of the device, you have the primary microphone as well as the micro USB data syncing and charging port. At the back of the device, you have the 5-megapixel autofocus camera with the single LED flash. The LED flash is quite bright. In the middle, you have the XOLO branding, and at the bottom, you have the loudspeaker, and the grill is a bit raised, so even if the phone is flat on its back, its sound won't get muffled that much. The back cover is definitely glossy, but doesn't attract fingerprints as much. So we'll just open it up. The back cover does remind us of Samsung smartphones with a million locks to open before you can actually get the cover off. So we have the cover off now. It's definitely a bit flimsy, but once it's on, it doesn't make any creaking sounds and it's quite solid. On the inside, you have two full-size SIM card slots, and in the middle, you have the micro SD card slot and the 2000 mAh battery, which this time around is actually a lithium polymer battery. So now let's put the cover back on. The back cover shuts in tight without leaving any gaps. And even though this device has a 5-inch display, it's quite light and it's quite solidly built as well. Now if we move to the front, at the top you have the main earpiece, the light and proximity sensor, as well as the VGA front-facing camera. At the bottom you have 3 capacitive buttons which do light up. However, the lighting does bleed a little bit. Talking about the display, you have a 5-inch FWVGA display, that's 854 by 480 pixels. I'll just change some wallpaper so that you can see the color reproduction yourself. The color reproduction is actually quite natural. The colors look sharp. And there is very little to no distortion in the display. Therefore, the viewing angles of the display are good as well. We didn't come across any ghosting or freezing of any kind. Now let's talk about network and call quality. First, let's see the dialer interface. So it's a bit customized. You can choose which SIM to call from, as well as send a message from here directly, or use video chat over 3G. The call logs dialog, at least there is no customization there. We didn't have any network issues with the phone. The GPS too works quite well. Now let's have a look at the messaging app. So this is the default keyboard which you can see here. It's a stock Android keyboard, no customization, which you can see from there. But in the messaging app, you can add smileys very easily from there. Now let's start talking about software. So you can see the navigation quick toggles. The phone runs Android 4.2.2, which we'll see just now. So you have Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean running on the device, and you can see the model name. And you can also see the build number. It's actually been updated twice through OTA updates to fix camera issues as well as heating issues with the device. Rest of the settings are quite familiar. Let's get into more. In tethering and hotspot, you can see that it supports USB tethering, Wi-Fi hotspot, as well as Bluetooth tethering. So all 3 kinds of tethering are supported by the Q1000 Opus as well. Now let's have a look at the display. So in display settings, you have button light, which you can disable. Once these go off, they won't be lighted again, which is again a good option if you want. It saves battery as well. You also have the daydream feature, which acts as sort of a screensaver before the display times out. But again, this will use up your battery. Now let's have a look in storage. You have 2 separate options available on the Q1000 Opus. First, you can choose the install location of apps, which you can choose whether it's the SD card or the internal storage. And you can also choose the default write disk for apps like camera, where it should store your default pictures being taken. Then you have about 1.16 GB as internal storage and 1.68 GB as your phone storage. So you have about 2.8 GB that's available to you out of the box. USB OTG is also supported. We have already uploaded a video regarding that. And you can see from here that apps are also movable to the SD card. App and app data can both reside on the SD card. Now let's have a look at the security options that are available on the device. So there are very limited options available here. It's pattern, PIN or password mainly for securing your phone, not face and voice unlock, and anyways those are very rarely used. And you can always encrypt your device. Although the Q1000 Opus is running an almost stock build of Android, there is one major difference, and it's application security, using which you can enable or disable features that are used by various apps. Like say we want to disable Wi-Fi as well as Bluetooth connectivity for Velomo. What you can do is get into its options, and you have three options: whether to allow it, that's grant, prompt or forbid. So you can do this for pretty much any application that's installed on the phone, and it gives you total control over the permissions that an app uses. However, some apps may require certain permissions, and if you disable them, they will crash. Well, that's pretty much about settings. Now let's have a look at the default launcher. So this is the default launcher with 5 home screens. It's not much customizable. And here's the app drawer. Again, it's pretty stock. You can always install your own launchers. You have the widget and app store separate. And you don't have any options for customizing or even sorting in any order. So it's pretty stock. A little bit of customization would have been good, but then again, you can install a good launcher from the Play Store for free. So this is the stock Android camera applications. You also have touch to focus, that's available here. And you do get 4x digital zoom, which you can use just like that. In terms of settings, you can choose which camera to use from right there, and you can enable or disable flash. Getting into the main settings of the app, you can choose the picture size, picture quality, color mode, focus modes, as well as whether to show a grid on the display. It's a very basic camera interface, however it gets the job done. You also have the option to capture panoramas and video from directly here. Now I'll just show you some images taken with the phone. The images are a bit blurry sometimes, that's out of focus, which you can see in this one especially. But the color reproduction is more or less natural, which you can see in this daylight image as well. The camera supports 720p video capture. We'll have the video sample up soon. All in all, it's a decent camera, and the flash here is quite bright. And you can see the enclosure around the camera. It protects it from getting scratched. I'll just show you the flash once with the torch application, which comes pre-installed. So you can see that the flash is actually quite bright and it's white in color, which certainly helps. So this is the headset that comes with the device. You can see that it's in-ear style, white in color, has a single button interface to end and receive calls, as well as a silver pin. However, these are not actually that good, and they're really bass heavy. So if you want to listen to music, you should get your own headset. Let's get into the music app first, and I'll play a song. The loudspeaker is quite clear, but we would have liked it to be a bit louder, at least in music playback. The sound doesn't get muffled much because of the camera hum as well as the raised grill on the speakerphone. So the phone is actually never flat on its back. Music playback is quite clear, as you can see, and there is no issue with high bitrate playback as well. Music playback quality through a different headset is quite good. Moving on. Now I'll show you the FM radio interface. It's quite different here. Let me just plug in the headset. Alright, so the app is active now and has found the channel so quickly. The app works great. We had no issues with the reception. You also see the channel information from right here. And you can also record FM directly from within the interface by pressing that button. Recordings are automatically saved to your chosen default write disk. So this is a 1080p video at 30 fps. The Video Core 4 graphics engine is actually capable of rendering 1080p videos natively. This is actually in MKV format. AVI files, 3GP and MP4 are also supported. You can see that there are no issues with frame rate. There is no ghosting, freezing or any stuttering of any kind. So that was a look at 1080p video playback. Now we'll play a streaming video of YouTube. It's our full review of the Asha 502. We are playing in high quality mode right now. That's 480p. That's the maximum supported.
Review of the Nokia Asha 502. Let's have a look at the. So you have a 3-inch QVGA display.
You can see that here too. There are no issues with audio sync.
The touch response on the display is truly
and the playback is quite smooth.
And if you have a look at the viewing angles too, you'd find that there is very little to no color distortion at all.
However, you can see that there is a little bit of light bleeding in the display, which is visible at the top right corner of the display. But it doesn't seem to be a widespread issue. So we have loaded up phonebunch.com. Our mobile website has opened up. So you can see that there are no issues while scrolling. Scrolling is quite smooth. Now we'll jump to our desktop website. Our desktop website is loaded completely. Here too you can see no issues in scrolling. It's quite fast. Pinch to zoom is quite smooth again. Although it could have been a tad bit smoother. But I think it's less to do with performance than actually I should have a screen guard on it. And this is the latest update that came out just today morning. It fixes the USB OTG issue, due to which the phone restarted every time you plugged out the USB storage. And also fixes the heating issues that we had. And we can say that the phone doesn't get heated up as much as it did earlier, even while playing games. So I will just show you that. This is a standard USB OTG cable and a pen drive. I will just plug that in. You can see that it has detected storage and it's now preparing it. We'll quickly jump into storage now. Let's scroll down. So you can see it has been mounted right there. It's a 16 GB pen drive. So first we should unmount it. This option was not available previously. And then you can simply remove the USB storage. And the phone did not restart. So it certainly has been fixed. So here's a look at the flip cover that comes with the phone. It actually acts as a stand as well, using which you can prop up the phone on any hard surface and tilt it to enjoy watching movies or any multimedia content for that matter. You also get a free screen guard within the box. The quality of the accessories, especially the flip cover, is quite good. Well, that was a full review of the XOLO Q1000 Opus. Earlier we had some issues regarding the camera where it crashed suddenly, as well as some heating issues after playing games. But the phone did not have any issues with performance, which you can see from right here. You can also see the benchmarks as well as its gaming review. The phone performed quite well there as well. The first OTA update fixed the camera issues, which are no longer present. The second update fixed the heating issues, which we have confirmed after playing games. The temperature rose just about 1 or 2 degrees after playing games for quite a while. So for about rupees 9,000 to 9,400, this is actually a very good device to buy right now. You can watch its unboxing, benchmarks as well as gaming from right here. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook as well as Google+. Don't forget to subscribe. This is Abhinav Pathak for Phone Bunch signing off. Thank you and have a great day.